What if I told you that Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari, the most celebrated driver transfer in Formula One history, might actually be remembered as nothing more than a forgotten footnote? What if the man who knew Hamilton best has just revealed that the 7-time world champion may have made the biggest mistake of his career? And what if Ferrari's dream signing is turning into their worst nightmare, with no podiums, no wins, and no hope in sight after 16 races? These aren't wild conspiracy theories. These are the devastating words of Toto Wolff himself, the man who lived Hamilton's greatest victories by his side at Mercedes. And what he's just revealed about Hamilton's Ferrari adventure has left the entire paddock in absolute shock. Let's look at the brutal facts. 16 races into Hamilton's Ferrari career, and the statistics paint a picture that nobody wanted to see. 0 podiums, 0 wins, 0 momentum. For a driver who spent his entire career fighting at the front, this is completely uncharted territory. But here's what makes Wolff's revelation so devastating. He's not just criticizing the results. According to the sources, Wolff has admitted that Hamilton's reasons for leaving Mercedes were completely valid. The frustrations were real. The cracks in their partnership had been growing for years. Mercedes needed a reset, and Hamilton needed an escape. Ferrari's offer seemed perfect. Big money, a fresh environment, and the emotional pull of becoming the man who could restore the Scuderia to glory. On paper, Wolff admits it was irresistible. But then comes the twist that's left Ferrari absolutely stunned. The specific details reveal that Hamilton's time with the Silver Arrows had become genuinely problematic. The failed zero-pod concept, a car that lacked competitiveness, and a team that seemed short of answers. Hamilton had grown tired of waiting, tired of fighting with machinery that couldn't match his ambition. But what Wolff revealed next exposes the raw truth about Hamilton's gamble, and it's not what anyone expected to hear. You'd think this would be a story about patience paying off, about Hamilton finally finding his home in the red of Ferrari. After all, every driver dreams of Ferrari, right? Wolff himself acknowledged this, that Hamilton had always been drawn to the red, that the deal on the table was very good. But the sources reveal a much darker reality. Wolff's shocking twist is that nothing has changed. The reasons Hamilton left Mercedes are still true today. But Ferrari have failed to deliver on the dream that was promised when he swapped silver for red. The comparison Wolff drew was absolutely brutal. He likened Hamilton's Ferrari chapter to Michael Schumacher's underwhelming return with Mercedes in 2010, an era where a legend fought in the midfield in a car that could not match his talent. For Hamilton, who has built his legacy on fighting for victories and championships, this comparison cuts deep. What's even more revealing is how Hamilton has had to completely change his driving style just to extract performance from the SF25. He's admitted the car feels alien, that he's having to brake later and harder than he wants, sacrificing the flow that has always defined his driving. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc, raised inside Ferrari, drives the car as though it was made for him. But here's where the story takes an even more troubling turn, because Wolff's revelation exposes something Ferrari desperately hoped nobody would notice, and it could destroy their entire 2026 project. The sources reveal that Ferrari are not just losing races, they're losing people. The exits of key personnel like Wolf Zimmermann, Lars Schmidt, and potentially Diego Tondi have left their 2026 project completely exposed. For Hamilton, who placed his faith in Ferrari's long-term vision, this is turning into an absolute nightmare. Wolff's most devastating point is about timing. While Hamilton was growing frustrated at Mercedes, the team was actually laying foundations for the new regulations in 2026, the biggest reset Formula One has seen in years. Mercedes are positioning themselves to strike when it comes. But Hamilton didn't want to wait. He wanted to fight again immediately, to taste victory before the new era. The irony is absolutely crushing. At Mercedes, Hamilton was the cornerstone, the reference point, the driver around whom everything was built. He was unhappy, yes, but he was central. At Ferrari, he's still finding his place, still adapting, still searching for the performance that was promised. What makes Wolff's words so powerful is that he's not just any critic. This is the man who helped shape Hamilton's golden era, who knows exactly what the 7-time world champion is capable of when everything clicks. And now he's essentially suggesting that Hamilton may have traded the known difficulties of Mercedes for unknown struggles at Ferrari, only to find himself in an even harsher reality. But the most shocking part of Wolff's revelation is what it means for Hamilton's legacy and Ferrari's future. Here's the terrifying reality that Wolff has exposed. Ferrari are in danger of wasting Lewis Hamilton. To say that about the greatest driver of his generation, to suggest that the Scuderia could erase him from the memory of the sport is extraordinary. Hamilton himself has admitted that podiums must come soon, that patience cannot be infinite. But with Ferrari's structure in chaos and key personnel departing, the sources suggest that the 2026 project, Hamilton's best hope for competitive machinery, is now at serious risk. The comparison to Schumacher's Mercedes return becomes even more chilling when you consider the timeline. Schumacher had 3 seasons to make his mark before retiring. Hamilton is 39 years old. Time is not on his side. From Mercedes's perspective, Wolff is almost suggesting that Hamilton jumped too soon. The 2026 reset will be massive, and Mercedes have maintained their winning culture, their technical organization, their structure that delivered titles year after year. Yes, they made mistakes like the zero-pod concept, but those mistakes were born from ambition, not incompetence. Meanwhile, Ferrari are struggling with fundamental issues that go beyond just car performance. The sources reveal that Hamilton has shown flashes of brilliance, like his comeback at Monza, but they're isolated moments rather than a consistent pattern. For a driver who built his reputation on sustained excellence, this inconsistency must be deeply frustrating. The questions Wolff's revelation raises are genuinely troubling. Did Hamilton miscalculate? Has Ferrari's romance blinded them to their structural problems? Can they deliver the 2026 car that might be Hamilton's last realistic shot at an 8th championship? Most importantly, will Hamilton's Ferrari chapter be remembered for triumph or frustration? Wolff has now put that question front and center, and Ferrari have everything to prove. What do you think? Did Hamilton make the right choice? Or has Wolff exposed the brutal truth about a dream that's turning into a nightmare? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed because this story is far from over.